Hello everyone, my name is Matthew, and this is Learn the Lingo. Welcome to Lesson 72 of Hebrew Basics, a series where we learn the essentials of Hebrew grammar. Today, we're going to finish our studies of the Hophal binyan by looking at how to form its irregular verbs. We'll start with roots that begin with a guttural letter, that is, aleph, ayin, chet, or hey. The root aleph, kaf, lamed in the Hophal makes the verb laha'achil, to feed. That means in the Hophal, the root will have a meaning of being fed. Let's make the verb he was fed. That's a past tense verb whose subject is he. A regular root would form this Hophal verb with a hey with kamatz that says o, first root letter with shva, second with patach, ending with the third. The problem is that aleph with a shva. Aleph cannot have a shva. What we'll change this shva to in the Hophal binyan is a kamatz shva, which says o, to match with the kamatz before it, which also says o. Ho'ochal, he was fed. With roots that begin with chet or hey, we have two options in the Hophal, because in these verbs, these letters can have a shva or a shva with another vowel. The root chet zayin resh has a meaning of returning something in the Hophal, so in the Hophal, it has a meaning of being returned. The masculine singular form of the present tense of this root can be regular. Muchzar is returned. However, it's also correct to form it with a kamatz shva on that first root letter chet. Muchzar is returned in masculine singular form. The root bet vav aleph has a meaning of coming in the basic kal binyan. That means in the causative Hophal, it has a meaning of bringing. And that means that in the passive Hophal counterpart of the Hophal, this root has a meaning of being brought. This root has two letters that make it irregular in all three of these binyanim. The second root letter vav that acts as a vowel, making this a hollow root, and the third root letter aleph. Let's make the masculine singular form of the present tense of this root in the Hophal. This will begin with a mem. In regular Hophal verbs, this mem can have a kamatz that says o, or a kubutz that says u. When a Hophal verb is made from a hollow root, though, the vowel will always be u, spelled with a vav, and shuruk, never o. Then comes the first root letter bet. We skip over the second root letter vav, and put a kamatz on the bet, ending with the third root letter aleph. Muva is brought, masculine singular. The past tense verb he was brought is huva, which has the same structure with the u vowel, missing vav, and kamatz on the first root letter, as does the future tense verb tuva. You will be brought masculine singular, or she will be brought. The third root letter aleph will make the feminine singular form of the present tense of this Hophal verb irregular. Usually you take the masculine singular form muva, change the last vowel, the kamatz, to a sagol, and add another sagol and tav. But when the last root letter is aleph, we have no sagols and just one sere. Muvet is brought, feminine singular. This aleph irregularity is something we've seen in other binyanim. The aleph also makes any Hophal past tense verbs that don't usually change the vowels on the hu, he form, here huva, change the last vowel, here the kamatz, to a sere, as in huveti, I was brought, and huvet, you were brought, feminine singular. Roots whose first letter is yod or nun are regular in a very similar way in the Hophal. Yod dalet ayin makes the Hophal verb lahodia, to inform. So in the Hophal, this root has a meaning of being informed. Nun kaf resh makes the Hophal verb lahakir, to know, as in to know a person. So in the Hophal, it has a meaning of being known. These roots, beginning with yod or nun, usually drop off that letter in both the Hophal and the Hophal. In the Hophal, the resulting form is very similar to that of hollow roots. He was informed is huda, very similar to huva, he was brought, as is hukar, he was known. All these verbs drop out of root letter and always have an u vowel after the prefix. In the case of verbs from first nun roots like hukar, the standard spelling for the u vowel is a kibbutz instead of a vav with shuruk. Lastly for today, a couple of irregularities that appear in many binyanim, and that we've seen before. The feminine singular form of a Hophal present tense, with a root that ends with ein or chet, will have padachs as its last two vowels instead of sagols, as seen in other binyanim. When the second root letter is a guttural, like the root tav chet lamed, any form that would have a shva on that second root letter will have a padach shva, as in yot chalu. They will be begun. And that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and share. And if you want to learn more Hebrew, please consider subscribing to my channel and checking out some of my other videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.